All right, let's take a peek here at our piece of new content. We have a little bit of time here. So yesterday, I finally acquired enough blueprints going through the old refinery here in the Continuum store to unlock my Revenant, which I just finished building yesterday. We've got it right here somewhere. Actually, it's probably in, I should do it this way. So now I've got a Revenant, and I'm going to try and figure out what exactly it is I'm supposed to do with this thing. So there it is right there. Haven't done anything to it yet, haven't leveled it up, haven't, spent any parts or anything on it. It's just bare, basic, level 1 Revenant, requiring some of this material, which I guess I already have from doing the Battle Pass and things like that. When the events came out, when the ship was released a few months ago, probably accumulated a little bit of this material out of that. We're looking at about, I'm starting at 74 million base power. It's the ship ability here that does increased damage against the Q Continuum hostiles. It also disables the cutting beam from the group armadas and the solo armadas, because the solo armadas are really almost impossible to do without having the Revenant. And the group armadas are very tough, but you can power through them because the cutting beam, the way it fires, if you have enough sacrificial lambs and really strong ships, you can kind of burn your way through some very low level ones, relatively speaking, compared to the power that you're going to have. Same thing with, the relativity and the formation armadas. If you don't have a relativity, you can still do like the level 43s as a group, even though you have 60s and 70s in the armada. It's kind of the same thing here. And then here's the increasing the modules that you get from killing the hostiles by 500%. The majority of the currency that you get had been coming from the boxes, right? You kill a hostile, you open a box, you get 1,000 currency. You kill the actual hostile, you only get like 200 or 300. With the new ship here, now you're getting 500% increase. And if we look at the way that these ship abilities scale on stfc.space, on the Revenant, so we're starting at 80 million damage bonus. That's just at level 1. When you take it to level 5, you're already up to 100 million. So there's no reason not to just spend the ship XP and get it up to 100 million before you even try and do anything. You're doing 20 million% more damage. So you're going to have to get through that real fast. And then as you begin to level it up and tier it up, you're going to see these numbers go up pretty significantly. All the way to the point where you're talking about 300 or 400 million% of a damage increase on these higher ops levels. And as far as the loot bonus, like I said, we're starting at a 500% at tier 1. The instant you take the ship to tier 2 and get to level 6, you're now at 1,000%. So it's going to make this whole Q Continuum grind significantly better. And that's what they always try and sell these specialty ships for, right? They're designed to make the loop is doable without them. It's just tedious. This is designed to give you some relief to that, to sort of motivate you to be like, do I want to spend 3 months waiting for blueprints and just grinding out hostiles the slow and long and boring way? Or do I want to just give them $100 and make my life a little easier? That's for each player to decide. Personally, I will keep that $100 and find something that I will enjoy more spending it on. But as you can see here, it does increase basically every tier up. You're going up 500% in terms of the loot. So the higher you get the ship up, the better to go. So we do have some availability to, I can probably take this to tier 2 with the amount of points. It's using no other materials as of yet, which is also nice. So let's go ahead and tier this puppy up. Now this is the ship that when you get it up to certain tier levels, you do have to scrap it and kind of start over. I don't know, we'll get to that point today, but I'll at least try and explain how that mechanic works. What's up, GP? What's going on? You need to go to PC? Okay. Roll a pin, going to Ops 24. You're preparing your Vidar crew, and I see 789 of 11 or PMC, which would be better for an Ops 25 Vidar owner. First off, I think the Vidar, if I'm not mistaken, the Borg probes Talon actually works better on those than Chen. It's been a while. It's certainly been a while since I've looked at some of these targets, but I feel like, and we can go to stfc.space to confirm. If we go to hostiles, let's reset all filters. Let's just look at some Borg hostiles. Those are the assimilated Ferengi, Borg cubes, expansion cubes, spheres, Borg tactical probes, like the first low-level tactical probes. You're talking about a stable energy weapon firing the whole time. And then you've got an energy weapon that fires every 4 rounds. You've got a kinetic weapon that fires in round 1 and again in round 4. So realistically speaking, you're probably going to kill them within the first 4 rounds of the fight. So you'd want to negate this energy weapon as much as possible, because this is the only one that's firing consistently that's going to hit you. This one is going to only fire in round 4. This one's going to fire once, and then it's going to skip 2 rounds. So whatever you can do to negate the energy weapon, and I'm pretty sure that's Talon or Kath, right? No, she works on kinetics. Okay, so maybe that is why people use Chen. So yeah, so PMC probably would work better than that until you get some different officer crews. In the low 20s. That's probably going to be your better option. Again, depending on the tiers of your officers. You know, if your Borg officers are a little higher tier, that might work out better. So you're just gonna have to try and experiment a little bit with that, especially it's also gonna depend on what below deck officers you have and stuff. Like if you have Hugh already, well, that's gonna just make everything melt like butter. You're just gonna cut right through everything pretty fast. So congratulations on getting your new ship and your new Vidar and getting to Ops 25. Have fun, experiment with that a little bit. Yeah, I would guess the Strange New Worlds crew probably not much of an option yet until usually newer players, because they didn't have the, I mean, unless you happen to get them through packs, you know, because obviously they are all in a lot of the recruit bundles in ultra recruits and stuff. If you happen to get Strange New World people in here, awesome. That'll certainly be very helpful for that. But for a lot of players, they have to wait until they get the Mantis at 33 so they can start pulling Strange New World dedicated directly from here to start getting some of these other people unlocked. All right, back to the Revenant. So we're tearing it up right now. Now, I was advised before I did anything with the Revenant to do the research. And for that, we want to go into our starship tree and go out here and look at some of this Revenant specific research. Starts right here, right after your Vindicator stuff. So it's towards the end. And the first one you want to do, first off, is this Chaos Theory one. Now, all of these, the first one that you do, they all require, see if I can find one that I didn't do. Nope, I did most of them already. Oops. Here we go. I saved one. So the first one that you do, a lot of these requires this ionized nexus particles. This is the first one that you tend to get right off the bat. After you unlock level 1, then they all switch over to this just regular nexus particles that you're going to use for tiering these things up. There's a couple of researches in here. The first one is This one, this El Orin Revenge Strategies, which increases the amount of credits dropped by the solo armadas while you're using the Revenant. And at level 1 is 600%. So before you go do any of these armadas and spend whatever directives you have available, you want to start off right away getting this research done to drastically improve your payouts. There's a few other ones here that boost material costs and things for upgrades. This one here is going to boost your warp range. That's a pretty significant one to get to with your Revenant, so you can make it to some of the further targets as you level up. So we're actually going to try and do this one right now. It's giving me an extra 90 right off the bat on level 1. And then level 2 is 270. Oh, would you look at that? So we're going to teach that one right now and get that going. Some of these other ones here also make things like your artifact gallery or your Nova Squadron building a little cheaper to upgrade, which are also beneficial. And then as you get further and further, there's a little bit more here involved with spending Sigma materials, research speed increase, and increase dilithium costs for upgrading. Well, actually, all of them, all Sigma materials when upgrading ships just got cheaper. So this is more for your G6 stuff out here. And then you get into the relativity at this end. So it's really just this small little section of stuff here. And this is how you get your super highways unlocked. People ask as well, how do I get those super highways that I see in the El Orion space? It's right here through your research tree. These are what I'm talking about. See this red superhighway that's running right through here? That takes you to some of the higher ops points instead of zigzagging your way through all of them. That's also a good thing to get. That'll save you a little bit of flight time. All right, let's look at the refinery real fast. This is your Continuum refinery now. So you're going to have, this is a weekly claim, or when you tier up the ship, it will upgrade for these chest thing. I'm going to pull some of these as well. This is the one for doing the solo armadas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the solo armada credit, which gives you stuff to upgrade the ship, as well as Nexus particles and these fabricator chips, which are what you use to get more resources in the refinery, as well as just some basic materials. As you tier up the ship, these refineries improve. This is the one for doing the group armadas. I already have a bunch of this currency from tagging along on other people's group armadas when the arc was released. So I was able to pull this chest a little bit. And then we also have these fabricators. So the tokens that you get in the other refinery, you can then come in here and get additional resource bundles. So there are no... G5 has epic crystal. I don't think the other ones do though. Do they? Oh, they do have epics. So I need some epic gas. So this would be the one that I would want to pull. It's a 1 for 1 or 2 for 5, which is a terrible, terrible conversion ratio. So we're just going to do the 1 for 1 and let's find out what the cooldown is there. 278. That's a pretty rare gas, but no epic. Because again, it's a chance of things. It is a 20-hour cooldown. So it's a daily thing that you can do. Okay. Do the same for all of these individual pulls. This is the one to pull your directives. And this is for your other type of directives. You can see that they're capped, your 2 types of armadas, between the solo and the group armadas. Your chaos tech chances, once you unlock the Revenant, slightly improve. As far as getting some of the higher level ones. And it's now 5 guaranteed rolls of Chaos Tech shards, whereas before you're only getting 1 shard a day for your 10k. You just get like, oh, you get 1 Thought Maker. And you're like, oh, that kind of sucks. By unlocking the ship, you also get an enhancement to this refinery. Since I already have the Q's cannon, this converted to Chaos Tech fragments. I would have gotten 1 Q cannon. I got 1 Temporal Conduit, 1 Thought Maker, and 2 of the electromagnetic loot. So this will help you source the chaos tech even faster, which is another benefit to the refinery. Same thing here. Instead of getting, small little pulls, I'm now getting larger guaranteed pulls of this material to do upgrades to my chaos tech as well. And as I improve ops level, this will increase. And then it does let me look at what happens when I do evolve in terms of what I can see, how these refineries are going to improve when I get to the next ops level. I'm sorry, when I get to tier 5 and I rank and I scrap my ship and I rank it up. In order to get the max efficiency for it, you have to take the ship to tier 5 before you can scrap it, and you need to get it to ops to level 21. I keep saying ops. It's only level 21 that you need to get it to. You don't have to take it all the way to level 25 in terms of ship XP. You just get to 21, and then you can do the whole scrapping mechanic and get that taken care of. We're going to go ahead and speed this up now. And now it should reset my refineries because I'm taking it to tier 2. And let's see how this just re-triggered things. So now that it's tier 2, now my Polygon exchange here, this is what I'm spending my group armada loot on. This has gone up. This has ship parts in it. I'm going to triple pull this. So that way I can get a large amount of materials. We got a nice little bit of Sigma speed ups in here, but more importantly, I got a lot of ship parts and a decent amount of those research particles as well as 6 of the fabricator chips. So I can also come over here and convert these into resources. Still didn't get any epic. Probably should have done the 2 chest pull. Now see, that one will give me epic. And so will this one probably, right? This is the one for the solos. There's other additional fabricator chips and ship parts and stuff in here as well. So as long as you're running both types of armadas, you're kind of double dipping on being able to upgrade this thing. And this stuff doesn't reset because this is all ops dependent. Okay. So now we need to see what else we can do. I probably don't have enough to take it up another level. But I can get some of the way there. Let's take some hull health. There we go. And then I am going to go ahead. Not only do I want this done for the below deck officer slots, but I also want to improve the ship abilities. So I'm getting a loot bonus of the chaos modules, as well as now a huge damage bonus as well. Everybody with me so far? Anything I missed? Stone DM, thank you for the follow, by the way. Now, these armadas, they are just regular armadas, if I'm not mistaken. So your standard armada grouping should work just fine for these guys. I like to use Cisco Miles and Gwen DeMarco, personally. I like the extra shots plus her cascade damage, and then usually it's hull breach from Torres. You could move Hugh if you want to for somebody better. One of these other officers or somebody you prefer more. He's not going to help at all on these things. He's effectively just there for stats, I guess, at this point. But you could put someone like a Viel below deck who will help boost your armadas, or you could put someone like the Doctor below deck who would help you get more loot. Probably don't need extra mitigation right now or anything. This is an interceptor, so I do have the hull breach. I think I should be okay either way, but... Alright, let's go see what we can kill here. As far as armadas go. I don't know where to start. Let's go to like the 48 system and we'll start there. Once you get Mark II skin, you won't need extra shots because of the skin ability. Okay. That is sort of what happens when you do rank these things up, right? Is you get these additional ship skins. I don't think they're under here for ship abilities. Did I miss them? There's the Mark IV. Where are the other ones? That's weird that I'm only seeing the Mark IV. Increases base cost efficiency of upgrade parts. That's the big aspect of it. That's why you tier it up at certain levels and you scrap it. Make sure you come in here and you unlock your skin before you go back and start rebuilding. Otherwise, you're going to waste the materials. That's an important thing to remember too about this particular loop. There we go. So they're rare, I guess. Oh, they're uncommon, rare, and epic. That's why I couldn't see them. Okay. So the uncommon skin, when you get it to Mark II, improves its shots by 10. Awesome. And its cost efficiency of parts by 500%. It also improves your bundles if you're Ops 51 or higher. So when you scrap the ship, before you start rebuilding it, come in here immediately, unlock your skin, because you should get the parts you need from the scrap. And that'll make it cheaper to get back to the point where you were. And that's already factored into the cost. So all the materials you spent going from Ops 1, level 1 to level 21 before you scrap it, in tier 5, you don't need to wait and start over like the Stella where you have to go out and resource the things. The materials they give you back, comboed with the ship skin, enable you to get right back to where you were before you hit the scrap button. And it's a pretty short scrap if I'm not mistaken. So these are the group armada. Let's just kill a hostile, right? Just because I'm curious to know. With the damage bonus, like, is this even a thing? So ordinarily this thing would give me 152, which would take a really long time if I wanted to grind these out because, you need 8,000 for your Revenant claim, your daily pull of your 2-ship blueprint pull. You need 10,000 for your, your Q, chaos tech pull and other thousands of stuff. So it's like, oh, I got 150 from killing it, and I got 1,000 from a chest. So it's like I have to kill a lot of these things in order to get a large amount of the chaos modules. Now, for getting a kill, I actually got 1,750, which would make that whole grind a lot easier. I don't need to grind as much anymore either because I don't need to pull the ship blueprints. So the type 3, these are the solo armadas. And they drop a little bit of this currency here. And then you've got your group armadas right here, which drop the different currency. Now, how many of these can I run? I can run 17. Okay, well, that's a pretty good number. Let's just try a 48. I think I'm going to grossly outpower this thing, but let's find out just how much I undershot, how overly conservative I was with this one. All right, that looks like it went really easy. I didn't take any hull damage really at all, so this probably was dead in like 1 round. All right, 3 rounds. We slapped a hull breach on it. We beat the crap out of it. I took very little damage from this thing, and I did a large amount of damage back to it. As far as loot goes, well, I got 1644 of the solo credits, as well as a chest which contained another 1,000. So I got 2,600 of the solo credits. I need 2,000 to do a single chest pull, 16,000, so an 8 times multiplier. Wow, that's really, really pushing the limits there. But that fight was super easy, so let's, can't move up to there. Can I move up to the 50s? That's as far as I can get. Excuse me. I don't have the warp range to get here. I'm only warp 197, and this requires warp 240. Because I did not finish my warp range upgrade. So let's do that research, actually. Get that extra 90. That should get me up over 280. That's not going to kick in, though, until I go back to base. Well, let's do a 50 real quick. That's a solo. Let's go start that one. As you can see here, there's a lot of people doing these armadas right now. That would be because of the event that we have. There is an event right here for the Borg Protocol SLB. Doing damage to armadas, getting lots of points. These things are worth a significant amount of points. There's also a few other ones that we've seen event-wise recently. One of them is doing damage with a Chaos Tech equipped. And people tend to do these types of armadas for that because they have such high hull health and whatnot. So you get to do trillions or quadrillions or quintillion points of damage to these things to really rank very highly on the leaderboard. Let's see what else we got we can do for research. Now that we got that out of the way. There we go. Take an extra loot bonus. Let's get this up a little higher. And let's take this warp range up the rest of the way. Take this 270% bonus. Now, I don't know what the ops level restriction is on the second one. I'm going to guess it's probably 61, but for thoroughness, let's look this up. Foreign warp engine research. So at level 51, you can do the first tier to get the extra 90. You do have to be level 61 to do the second tier to push it up to 270. Okay, so let's go back to base. We killed that thing. The level 50 here, the 3.0. Again, very little in terms of credits or currency. And the fight also only went a couple of rounds, and I really didn't take much damage at all. Bud Knight says that the 3.1 armadas, and that's another thing too with these things, is you've got to be careful what you're looking at and what you're hitting, because you've got your 3.0s. Excuse me, a little something stuck here. Hang on a second. So you've got your type 3.0s, and then they do scale up. You'll see a 3.1, I think it's a 3.2, and a 3.3. Is as high as they go. Finish up this repair queue. All right, so now my warp range went from 190 something up to 502 because I finished my researches. So now I can reach stuff that's a little further out. The question would then be is, can I kill any of that stuff? So let's go find out. In the meantime, let's see if we can get another research going. I don't think I have enough currency left. I don't. I could do this one to unlock upgrading Forbidden Tech. That one takes the last of my particles there. I'm gonna hang on to those, I think. Although I probably don't need to. And this one's a prime. This is a prime to get extra credits which is going to get you another 600. And hey, look, it's a multi-tiered prime. Would you look at that? It's wow. It's a prime that has 15 levels to it and has this specialized material. So I don't know what you get from a pack of this stuff to even know how you could level it up, but or where I would even find it in the store. It's probably under research somewhere, right? Lead hazard particles. I feel like there's a separate folder just for primes, right? Yep. Prime L Orange Revenge Strategies. That's this one right here. So for $100, you get 1,000 particles plus basic materials and stuff. The Prime L Orange Strategies, which gives you a 600% bonus. So you get 1,000 particles. So there's 50, another 50, you're up to 100, 200, 250, now you're up to 325, 400, 475, 550, 625, 700, 775, 850. Wow, you can, sorry, so this one makes no sense to me whatsoever then. You buy a pack for $100, they give you 1,000 of these temporal particles, which is all you need. So it's only $100 prime. It's got 15 levels associated with it. They all only require R&D 42. So nothing in here changes. So unless the website's wrong, there's absolutely no reason that this should be this multiple level of a prime other than the fact that they just want it to take longer. Because you have to stop and do each level. And it's like, why? Why would this be a thing? Why isn't it just a one-tiered prime that takes 3 days to complete and gives you, you know, a 10,000% level increase in terms of your payout? Why do I have to go through and level this thing up 15 times for no reason? That's a bit of a head scratcher. All right, so this is the 3.1. This one, if we can look by comparison stake, this was a level 50 3.0. 4 trillion hull health we're talking about, DPR about 25 million per round. And now if we scan the 3.1 here, 22 trillion hull health, 51.9 DPR. So the damage they do per round doubled, and the amount of hull health is like 5 times higher. So the fight should take a lot longer, and they're going to hit me back significantly harder. GP says Scopely's doing it for cash, but they're only charging you once. They really think it's going to cost you that much extra in speed ups when it's a 2-day research that with efficiencies is probably only like a 12-hour research? They're just going to keep making you spend those over and over and over again for no reason. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. Well, it looks like we died, so that didn't go well. So obviously these things hit a lot harder. We got the shields down, but I think we're hitting a little out of our league here. We went 14 rounds. We did a pretty, you know, again, doing decent amount of damage and things like that. They just have very high shield health and hull health that we were not quite able to get through. So let's go look at those numbers. Shield health 9 trillion, hull health 37 trillion. Okay, yeah, so it's a lot to work your way through. So not quite ready for the 3.1s yet. Probably going to have to level up and scrap this thing first before we can do those. Or the other possibility is that in some of these little spin-off systems that we see here, they might have lower levels of the 3.1s. We're going to check those out. Because there might be some lower level 3.1s. Because again, not only did I go up to a 52, but I also changed from a 52 to from a 3.0 to a 3.1. So maybe like a 53.1 I might have better success against, or 48 rather. There's also a 50 up system up here too we can check out. Lorca has a fleet commander ability for these things. Which tree would that be in? That he has an ability specifically? Or you're talking about his Lorca Fist ability, or he actually has a specific one for the Borg hostiles here? Piercing stats against players. It's one of his combats. Wave defense. Damage against players. Armadas and invading entities. Not seeing anything special there. What are we talking about here? You're talking about these little values for these boosts? Because I'm not seeing anything in here that's really actually relevant to what we're doing. No, the fist isn't going to do anything against these. I mean, the ship's already adding, what, 80 million% damage? 125 million% damage of an increase is what I'm getting. Adding an extra 3 or 4,000 on these, it's not doing anything. All right, so here's the 3.1s. So for comparison, the level 30, 48, 3.1, or 3.0 here. This thing had a trillion shield health, 4 trillion hull health, and it gave me 1644 in terms of loot, plus the chest. The 3.1 here, level 48, still, it's giving me a lot higher base loot, which is then going to get multiplied even further. And I go look, and we're looking at 4 trillion shields and 14 trillion hull health, so about triple the amounts. So we're going to try and take on one of these guys. Yeah, bad gamer. I'm not seeing anything in Lorca's abilities that would really make much of a difference here. What's up, Gonkar? Okay. So that one went a little bit better. We took a decent amount of damage. I'm going to go back and repair because I'm going to try one in the 50s and I want to be at full health for that. So again, before the 48 3.0 took 3 rounds, barely took any damage, got 1,600 credits. The 3.1, its big brother, took 19 rounds, took a lot more damage, and got 18,000 credits with the multipliers from doing the research. And 18,000 I feel like was a significant number because that's what I needed to do a double, 16,000 to do a double chest pull. Okay. So I can do a double chest pull of that. That'll get me more research particles, more ship upgrade particles. So let's repair. Let's see if there's any other research I can do now that I just got some more particles. Nothing that's going to be specifically helpful to this stuff. The loot one is close, but not quite there. But maybe we got... I can do the cargo bay. Ugh, no cargo bay. All right, now we're going to go up here and we're going to try a 50 and see if that helps. Otherwise, it's just going to be like it normally is, which is you just have to wait for your cooldowns. I can keep pulling this one every day. For the solos is daily. For the group armadas, it's like a weekly cooldown, it looks like. Six days. Not quite weekly, but 6 days. And then the resource conversions are also daily pulls. And as far as directives go, those are weekly pulls of the directives. All right. Let's try a level 53.1. Let's see how bad this goes. What am I running below decks? Since I only have 2 slots, Torres is in one of them. I think Hugh is still in the other one, to be honest, which is a waste. A waste of a slot, but Torres for the first one for the hull breach. And then you could put anybody in the second slot to be better. I was hoping I'd just be able to sort of muscle through these with power, but it's definitely not working. Did we kill it? We did not. Maybe it's because I have the wrong guy below deck. We got it about halfway down, so I can't even kill the 50s. Unbuffed, anyway. Because that's something else, obviously, we haven't considered. These are all just base numbers. You know, I could do something like that. Now, board queue probably would be helpful for this fight, because the fights are going significantly long rounds. So if I take him out... Okay. Let's try this again. If I take you out... Don't know why it wouldn't let me just remove somebody. Then I move you over there. Now we'll actually repair some of that damage, so I should last longer in the fight. Because these fights, like we said, they're going 19 rounds, 18 rounds. And these guys are hitting me decently hard, you know. On a variety, you know. They got multiple shots. They're doing a consistent amount of damage. So I think I can stretch the fight out longer with Hugh below deck there. Let's go back and let's try it again. I'm also going to send my Titan, because I can also throw a Titan buff. James, thanks for hanging out. Have a great day. Great rest of your weekend. And thank you to everybody, because apparently, I didn't even know this, but apparently today is my Twitch affiliate stream anniversary. I think yesterday was technically, but this weekend is my Twitch affiliate stream anniversary. So 3 years since I hit Twitch affiliate, I think is what we're at now. Now, do these things retain or do they reset? They reset. That sucks. So unlike group armadas, which the damage you do retains them, these follow the typical solo armada pattern where they repair all the damage if you don't kill them. It's also the other reason why we're going to try the Titan buff just for a little extra stats and see if it makes enough of a difference. Andy, thank you very much for the 300 bits. I appreciate that. Yes, I made it out of the terrible twos. Let's speed this up. And let's see if this works any better. Between a little bit of a buff and a little bit of a hull repair. I'm going to put out a little more damage. I don't think we got it. I don't think we got it. Nope, we sure didn't. How close? And it's still not quite close enough. Okay. So we can't quite do these just yet. So the 50s, maybe if I was using like max fortification, I could get it. Or if I also had a Cerritos buff or something. Or if I was just a tier higher on the ship. If I was at tier 3, that would probably be a more reasonable or realistic goal. But at tier 2, can't quite get there. So it's okay. We're just going to rank down. And we're going to give it another shot. We'll just take on some 48s. I'll build up some credits, some currency, do a couple days of daily refines, get some more parts, finish up this tier and take it to tier 3. And then I'll probably be able to go back and move up to the 50s. But as far as doing just the loop and getting the currency, it's not overly complicated. Now we did talk about what happens when you get to tier 5 and the whole scrapping mechanic. But just to sort of summarize that, you get it to tier 5, you take it from level 20 to level 21. Then you scrap the ship. You immediately go into your armory and unlock your skin, which then gives you more efficiency so that when you get the parts for scrapping it, you can level it right back up. We go to our Revenant. We'll show you what we're talking about here. So when you go down to your scrapping, so like at level 20, you're only getting, the basic stuff. But at level 21, now you get your parts back. You also get the gift key bundle, which is what you need. This gives you the skin. And it gives you 20,000 uncommon parts back. Now to go from level 1 to level 5, it says it requires 725,000 parts. But if you're getting a 500,000 a 500% reduction because of the skin on those parts, this number is going to drop significantly. And you should be able to get it right back up pretty close to where you started. And as you can see from the chart here, taking it up to a higher from 21 to 25 does nothing except get you more ship XP. So you're spending ship XP to level it up to get more ship XP back. Bud points out that the Defiant buff should also work as well. That's true. That is true. They are considered armadas and solo armadas. So your Defiant buff would also help. So if you really wanted to buff up and go crazy, you could do Titan, Cerritos, and Defiant. In fact, let's do it. Let's bring the Defiant out here. Because I'll admit, this last one did a big chunk of damage again. Over halfway done. That's unbuffed. We're getting enough currency to do a 2-chest pull every day and have a little extra left over. But I'd like that to be a little bit smoother of a fight. Defiant buff to get those abilities. It's Titan buff to give it those abilities. Defiant can run away. And now I will patiently wait 39 seconds instead of speeding it up to 10 seconds. I'll be patient. How are you guys doing? Have some of you already been, I'm guessing have already bought the ship or unlocked it and have been doing this type of stuff already? My free-to-play account is a little further behind. I think I still have like 15 or 16 blueprints left to get, so maybe a week or two, and I'll have it over there. Ultra, you bought the ship day one because of the refinery. I'm sure a lot of people did that because of the extra bits that they were giving out. Yeah, see, that went a lot better. Having these two buffs. So unbuffed, this particular fight, we took over half our hull health, lost. Fight went 24 rounds. And that's even with Hugh kicking in and doing some repairs at the start of the fight, his ability. And day one, over here, the 48th. Again, we lost a lot more shield health, not as much hull health. Between the Defiant bonus and his Titan buff, the fight went 19 rounds. And we actually kept some of our shields the whole time. So we cut 5 rounds off the fight, and we kept the shield health up because of those other 2 buffs. So some of that damage also got mitigated and just kept cycling through the shields instead of going straight through to the hull. Just with ship part sourcing was a bit quicker, says Candy. Okay. Nux bought it right out the bat just to get the materials. And I'm sure that having that extra boost to the refinery, especially for players who are new to their ops bracket, would be very helpful. If you're just getting into G5, being able to start getting some of those materials would be pretty helpful. Same thing with moving into like G6 as well, just to start sourcing some extra materials there. Bud says having Kim below would be better because you've got the star research. If we're putting morale on the ship from the Nova Squadron building, we're getting some isolytic for having morale. We're also getting a little bit more mitigation and some shield regen, which could be helpful. Now, the problem I think with me is as Harry Kim, I don't know exactly if he's tier 3 or tier 4 now. Where's my Voyager crew at? So Kim is up. I did get him up to tier 4. Okay, so he is at least 60% likely to proc, which could give some additional benefits and bonuses. Might make the fight a little better. That's going to vary for each individual person based on not only that research that we were just looking at with the Nova Squadron building, but also the tier of your Voyager crew in terms of how often their ability procs. Balana for me is max now, so it's 100% guarantee for the hull breach, which is why she always earns her spot on everything I do. All right, so that went a lot better. Let's go back and repair. We'll send the Defiant back. I'm gonna switch to Harry Kim, and we'll see just what kind of difference it might make here. And now I've got plenty of currency to do the next few days of polls here. And since I rarely ever use my Defiant bonus, I feel much more comfortable using that currency. All right, let's bump you out. We'll put Harry Kim in, and we'll send you back. Let him start it at least, right? Get the clock running. Now, because of daylight savings time, our battle pass event reset, and we got that right. They had the timers correct on those. Some of the other events, however, all right, so this one rolled out operation, so that's using an explorer to kill stuff. So the actual events that are in here rolled out properly and reset. Some of the other events, because Sunday, right? So no discovery event yet, no NSEA protector event yet, and these events still have a few minutes left on them. They have not reset properly. So the battle pass events launched properly for these dailies and things like that, but all the other events are delayed an hour because they're still on the old timers. For those of you not in America, that may be a little confusing and why your things are now out of sync and probably very annoying. Wow, that went super clean. Okay. So let's see. So this time around, we took a decent amount of hull health, of shield health, but very little hull health, right? What did we lose? 20, we lost about 6 million. And now, again, yeah, losing about 6 to 8 million. Still have a decent amount of that stuff. Fight only went 13 rounds, though. Kim did not proc in round 1. Did get some hull health repair there. There he goes off in round 2. And we look at the difference in some of these weapon shots. 32 and 110, 115 as compared to all right, let's go to round 3 and see if they He did not proc again in round 3. Of course not. That's where the bigger guns are firing. So, of course, Kim seems out of sync. He seems to be firing when the bigger guns are reloading and charging. So we're not getting... There we go. Okay, so now he's proccing in round 5. Excellent. So there's the regular shots. But now we're going to get to the bigger weapons here. And he's helping a little bit. These are getting... These are a bit bigger. We're talking about, 150 and over 500 as opposed to in round 3 where it was 100 and 300. So significant increase from Harry Kim and his ability working. So that's a good call for crewing as well. If you have the right polygon, I'm sorry, not polygon, I'm looking at these things. If you have the right star building research done. I'm almost tempted to go back and try one of the 50s now. And see if he makes enough of a difference. Because when we tried the 50 before, we got it a decent chunk of the way down. But maybe we'll save that for another day. And we should be well stocked on currency for a while, which is a good thing. And now I think 400 was the cap, so I think I can also now claim directives again. Oh, nope, I was just wrong. I'm just wasting these directives for no reason. Okay, I should stop. I thought I had to get below 400 so I could claim them again, but that's the other one. The group ones, you're capped at 400. Oops. See what happens when you're not paying attention? You miss important little details like that. And yes, Ultra, because of my daylight savings, all of Europe and APAC events are now out of sync and starting at different times. Completely understand that. Although some parts of the world also do daylight savings, you guys just do it at different times of the year because it makes more sense. Especially those of you in the southern hemisphere where, you're just finishing up summer. But yeah, we got plenty of this currency now, which is good. So the Revenant loop, not overly complicated. And not using any specialty crews in anything either. They're armadas. Use your best armada crew. All right. Any questions? Or did we pretty much thoroughly cover it for the last, hour-ish?